The views and opinions expressed in this stream are solely those of the individual participants. Any third-party content shown is used for the purpose of commentary, criticism, and education under the fair use doctrine of United States copyright law. Accordingly, Pierce Acoustics and its media partners must ask you not to recreate or reenact any of these stunts or activities.
Hopefully that. Hello? Yes. Are we there? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the audio on this. As I said last night, okay, well, obviously, early this morning became later this afternoon very quickly. Just trying to go through all the odds and ends. Like I've said before, obviously, we've had some equipment upgrades. Not just equipment upgrades, studio upgrades as well. At this point, we're not only just live streaming the usual everyday normalcy, but now I've figured out that we can link videos directly to this. And I tried to play a lyric video last night, thinking I had to go through a particular way, but I think I've reestablished. I got a better. I think I got better. I think I sourced it a little bit better on how to do and just go about doing that more direct rather than just sharing the page, which I'm not entirely sure what happened, but there was some audio buffering going on. It just didn't sound too well. So we'll try to do that one more time. We'll try to do that again. That way everybody here gets the opportunity to see the live stream directly before I go ahead and upload it up on YouTube and all other media sources. Currently, it is at 1080p so that we can just streamline play it here. But because it is going to take me a better part of a day to format that into 4K for ultimate viewing pleasure. But as I said, yeah, we can not only discuss standard topics, which I will go into that in just a minute. There are a lot of interesting topic. Well, the main topic, obviously, and it's not going away, is artificial intelligence in media, in general, in everywhere, in the workplace. It scares a lot of individuals that should be worried about it, and I'll go more in detail about that in just a minute. But you'll also be able to see all the other things that I'm working on. Like, say, if I happen to be working on a particular project. Realistically, I mean, I will be going ahead and posting these as reels as well, but the fact that we stream this live means that I can also demonstrate it to you live as well. Of course, you just saw me sanding the crap out of the P1 there. If if I happen to have any kind of uploads or updates with the Knights of the Federation or any other media as well.
Status report. All systems nominal, Captain. Santina?
Yeah, and I do have just about enough to put together a nice little trailer regarding that, and I'm extremely stoked and excited to be working on that, as well as other media projects in the future. But without further ado, I guess we'll kind of get directly into it. I think this is something it's around and it's not going anywhere. It's gonna stay. I know that techno music, dubstep music, has often faced the exact same criticism, and rightly so. To a lot of people out there, there are people out there that assume that, you know, yeah, they're just pushing buttons. A lot of them are, you know, realistically, there's a lot of that going on in the studio already. But really, it just realistically, it depends on the artist and I guess the amount of artistry going into it. Let's not discount the fact that techno and dubstep are genres that are worldwide phenomenons, and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So I think that there's something to anyone that wants to become a full AI artist as well. But for anybody out there that's just using it to enhance their brand, enhance their artistry, and gain a foothold, a leg up um, in an industry that's so riddled with competition already and literally just dominated by a handful of industries already, it gives the individual, the garage performer, the you know, the average Joe, that leg up with with high definition, I mean 4K detail. I couldn't, I can't express just how insane the quality is that's coming out of it. And a lot of people are using the fact that um you know, this is infringing on people's intellectual property, and yeah, they're not getting credit for it. But let's just break that down exactly, and just how we're going about doing that, and why it seems okay when it's people doing it to people, but as soon as a particular software that's written by a person starts to do it, we've got issues. So yes, for uh, I can't find my noises. All right, whatever. So for without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into our um, hmm, son of a bitch. I really gotta label these better. Anyway, I'll just do the sound effects myself. Dooby doo doo doo. We'll get back into the music news. Yes, music news. I don't know if you guys have heard of this particular company. Obviously, they're everywhere, more now than ever. But Suno is facing, not, I believe, 3 different lawsuits at the moment. I know it's settled in one. I know we've settled in one, but um, it's ongoing, and there's apologies being given, not apologies being given. But when you get to the real nitty gritty of exactly what's going on, and let me go ahead and try to share a few of these pages real quick. Um, let me see. We'll go ahead and share. What do we got? Okay. Yeah, definitely. Normally, I guess most people have a producer going through and clicking through all this stuff, so it streamlines the process a little bit. And yeah, I get that. I'll definitely work on doing that a little bit better, as I'm trying to do a lot of this myself, primarily out of necessity. There aren't there are not as many people um, in West Virginia that are trustworthy and or capable of doing this as well with me. So we'll go ahead and we'll see that. Yes, in one. Oh my god, I got to get rid of a lot of these pages already. But all right, so in one we have, after seeing retail and TikTok. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, right now we're striking a license full back new label backed models. Or previously, I guess it was labels that were backing this. But what's interesting is there's some of the few, and I know it's more than it ever has before, is that there are a lot of artists and a lot of artists in these industries that have been using AI and digital composition for the long to introduce AI artists. The actual artist itself is a construct. But for some reason, when this other company does it, and I'm certain, I don't know if they used, there's no evidence here that says that they actually used some kind of infiltrating viral. This is probably up on YouTube just like everybody else's, and they happen to use the music to to make the models. And where a lot of people are at an impasse with this, and I want to highlight this one in particular because of what this has stated. Roundhill has come at them from the, oh my god, and I did not, how does it not add to the stage? If I share the screen, it should add, we should just automatically add this stuff to the stage. Oh my god. Okay, so you didn't get to see that screen. Let's go ahead and share this particular screen. And it's funny because it brings me up to the screen. It takes me to the screen, and then but doesn't share it at the same time. Let's go ahead and maybe let's talk to. You know what? Let's just share the entire screen because I'm tired of going through all this nonsense. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're gonna want to go with screen one. That's where we're at now. Go ahead and add to the stage. Move other media streams from the stage. Oh man, yeah. Okay, industry strikes again. Apparently, they don't want me talking about a lot of this stuff. Okay. Well, anyways, oh god. Before presenting a screen, remove other media streams from the stage. Never had a problem with this before. Let's see. Oh, okay. For some reason. Okay, did not see that in the background. My bad. All right, there we go. All right. So, that being said, hopefully you can still hear everything. The audio is still playing. Yes, okay. All right. So, we've already seen that yes, Suno strikes a licensing deal. Okay, they're brokering deals. All right, because they already knew they lost, the other industry lost the first lawsuit because it's absolutely asinine to sit here and say that just by doing what we as artists and everybody else already do to, I don't know, embellish creativity. We're not stealing from other artists, but when I listen to Metallica and I hear a great riff, it inspires me to start writing similar riffs. That's what we've just programmed this thing to do. So they're filing a $1 billion copyright infringement suit, and I want to know how and why. What was what was infringed upon. There is simply nothing fair about a company using theft to build for purely commercial purposes a multi-billion-dollar business while those from which they steal receive nothing. Now I really have to focus in on the hypocrisy behind this, because it's not just Suno that's facing criticism right now. It's anybody that seems to want to back it is receiving criticism. First off, one of my favorites, Leo Fender, has to clarify his controversial comments comparing cover songs to AI. My intent was to talk about how technology can help artists and players learn and grow. That's exactly what anything is meant to help us do, is to learn and grow. Okay, and to create software that does just that based on the parameters that our own communal group is based on. I don't see any, it's the exact same thing. But here's where the hypocrisy gets into this. Because one, Leo, you do not have to apologize or answer to anyone regarding anything that you say. You have created an entire, rock and roll owns everything to you. Everything from the 50s on into now, right now. For this company to sit here and say, let's go back, because I want the exact words that this company says. There's simply nothing fair about a company using theft to build for purely commercial purposes. And then we go out and we see media or articles like this. The magic of parts casters. Build your perfect guitar yourself. And where we go, what is that? That's a Fender's. No, wait a minute. Where's the Fender? Oh, wait a minute. There are a lot of options out there. I invite a custom body route or official Fender's parts. So we're suggesting alternate options. We're suggesting doing anything outside of what made Fender a household name. You could even salvage a body or neck from an existing instrument. Okay, now, what really gets me is when we're talking about, broadly speaking, each kind of bridge commonly found on Fender style instruments. Fender style instruments, not Fender instruments. Fender style instruments. Are we talking about when we're talking about these same individuals that have an issue with Fender sending out cease and desist letters for those that are going out infringing on their own? Okay, might have not had the ability to copyright, but the fact that it's been trademarked and been used in the industry for this long cements it. They don't need patents at this point. By law, they're cemented in the trademark industry. That is a trademark Fender style. Everybody knows that is a Telecaster by just the look at it. Everybody knows that style of headstock and that neck is a Fender Telecaster style neck just by looking at it. But where's the royalties for Fender? Where's the support for Fender when Fender wants to Fender wants to go after its intellectual property and wants to reaffirm its property, its own industry? But no, it's okay. It's okay to make copies and versions, Fender style instruments. At the same time, we criticize a man for speaking out about something that's already well established. Do I need to go further? Because I have many more examples about how individuals, not even myself, not even just them, myself, being such a low level, I'm such a low level. Why would anybody want to nitpick anything I'm doing? But yes, even myself have seen it. The individual has gone on to not only my websites, my social media, everything that I'm putting out there that has come directly from me, are now copying and using that to try and enhance their own brands. Where's the royalties? Where's our royalties? When others start doing that and infringing upon us, that's not in dispute. That's not what's in question. And that's why I know that that's exactly what's going on. Because whether they want to or not, the industry's been using AI well before anyone else had established using AI, and continue to do it, and have finally begun to fess up about it. You can't sit here and say that every artist that we know, and I'm not even talking about just in rock and roll genre, every genre and every artist we know is coming out with a new album, either this year or next year. You don't see something a little bit suspicious about that? No one sees anything a little suspicious about that? When we know, I mean, it's like clockwork. Everything's on a routine schedule. Now, everybody is saying, yes, we're all coming out with albums now. I might come out with 2 this year personally. It's helped streamline the process that much. And this is how I know, because like I said, they have just brokered a deal, a licensing deal with new label back models, and that's what it comes down to. It's the label that's losing out on this, not anybody else, not any artists that actually want to utilize this and enhance what they've already done. No. It's the label that's missing out, because anybody out here that hasn't signed to a contract no longer has to, and they were going to be losing a lot of money. In a similar fashion that Fender's losing out, because the industry has now transposed to an independent, label-driven, bedroom, garage, wherever you're at, she shed, right then and there. Carry a laptop around with you, can do it in the back of your car. So I just have to reaffirm the fact that it's no secret, and they are finally. Way to go, Audi. Get off my page. Get stop. But I'm refreshing this. They slipped it in. They got their little, but 4 big name artists, and it's not just 4, but these are ones that you'd probably be shocked to know. Guys like my favorite, Randy Travis, has to use it, not necessarily has to, but wanted to use it because he's probably had a lot that he's wanted to get out and express in the open, and has no ability to use his vocal cords currently, but has already established that he's one of the greatest singers, country songwriters, rock and roll songwriters in the industry. You tell him the man can't sing, has no right to sing. You got people can get plugged in to play video games with their mind, but if somebody has an issue with this and wants to establish things that way, admits he has a handicap but can't do it, that we got a problem with that? No, they don't. And they're finally, thank God, they're finally coming out the woodwork and admitting it, because all of our favorite artists are utilizing it. But here's the difference, and where we're gonna be there's gonna be a divergence, which is already, like I laid out in the beginning. You know, you have people that are for techno music, digital based music, and I like certain aspects of it as well. But there are those that can actually use analog instruments, and you sing vocally, and it can actually, what do I say? How to say this? Own what they actually own and perform exactly what they're putting out. So in that, yeah, it's here to stay. And they've noticed, I mean, the fact that they can put it out so fast. And this is where the real dangers lies, is because now there is so much out there to overwhelm each and every one of us. I barely have enough time to listen to my favorite artist the moment the album drops. So I got to kind of coordinate time and listen to everybody. And no, it's not just them. Timbaland, one of my favorite, my absolute diehard favorite instrumentalists of all time. What actually got me into hip hop in the 90s, because it wasn't just a anymore. Boom, 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 boom. It was a bounce. It was a bounce. That same bounce that I love in every genre that I listen to, that pulls me in. And it's pulled me in as something I know for a fact Timbaland needs to be in this industry. And yes, and I understand 100% why. You can streamline everything right then and there. You pretty much, I mean, I would not doubt that he was not already, that any one of these individuals weren't already sitting on decades worth of music already. And now not sitting on decades more. And not just to create it, to enhance it. When I sat there and I uploaded my own instrumentals in, which I felt when I listened to the audio through my own auto speakers, I felt it sounds great. It's almost perfectly mixed already. But when you go and put it through their mix and mastering after the fact, I almost sat there and paid an extra $100 to make it come out even crisper and clear. Right now, it's fine the way it is. I might go through and remix and remaster later, but that's something that that if you know the process of remixing and remastering, holla if you know. It takes a lot. It's not a thing that it's not worth the effort, but when you have an industry, it's not just one artist that you're working with. You kind of need a little help. And this isn't doing anything else that a normal studio producer wouldn't already be doing. We just cut him out the middle. We ain't paying his ass anymore. But yeah, even the Beatles, use the Pink Floyd. And I'm telling you right now, if there's anything that Pink Floyd's doing, I should get a bracelet done, a bracelet made. Because I know a lot of people put WWJD on their wrist, but I would go more so when it comes to music. What would Pink Floyd do? These are individuals that already knew this was coming, and you would think they did. Just by how they structured their music, the instruments they were using in the day were, avant-garde. You weren't really using a lot of high, heavy synth entirely. A lot of people were still focused on the analog rotary speakers. Any way you can get that natural defined sound. No, they pushed their limits and they made it sound awesome. And even now, with some of their music videos, pushing threshold. Anyways, your favorite artists have been and are currently using this since its inception, and they're making it work because they're not creating something that's not already there. They're enhancing what's already been created, much like myself. And I'll get into Diodario as well. I do have to speak on Diodario real quick before I rant and continue to reiterate the exact same point. Is that we have a problem when we feel like we're at a disadvantage to something, it's unimaginable when you know that you yourself have access to the exact same things, the exact same software. Everyone has access to this. It's not limited to a certain group of people. So I have to ask, if you are unable to define some or enhance some form of creativity that you yourself had already had, and are unable to compete with those that are using the exact same resources, what the fuck are you doing, man? How are you not able to compete with those that are using the exact same resources? That almost means that, well, anyway, I don't want to get into the semantics of competition. I'll tell you right now, there's no room in it in this industry. I know a lot of people, it is. There's competition everywhere, but I'm going to be 100% realistic in that hypocrisy in itself. Because in a world that's dead set on trying to aim for societal peace, world peace, and there's no room for that in a world filled with competition. And I'll let you sit and linger on that for a little bit. There is absolutely no room in a world that seeks world peace, for world peace, in a world bound to competition. Now, when you sit here in another company that has to apologize for utilizing AI in an advertisement. These aren't artists. These aren't, the string sound. Where do I begin? To sit here and think that the quality of the strings themselves are going to diminish in some way, shape, or form because we utilized AI in an advertisement for a guitar string company. That I would also dare anyone, including you, Donnie, including you, boy, if you can discern from audio only the difference, and we'll use the exact same guitar, the exact same play out, everything. The difference, the tonal qualities, and I'm not going to say that there aren't going to be, but if you yourself, by ear, can define the difference between a Diodario set of XLs, okay, and their friendly neighborhood competition, let's say Ernie Ball. Now the Slinkies, okay, there's gonna be a bit of there's gonna be a lot more flex there. But when we're talking about tonal qualities, if you go with a set of 10s and match a set of 10s with the exact same string gauge, and I don't even think they're using any different materials. If they're nickel strings, they're nickel strings. Okay, just determine the quality of the nickel, I guess. But the nickel strings played side by side through the exact same guitar and setup, you would be able to tell me that that's Diodario. That's Diodario strings there. No, that's the Ernie Ball. Yeah. Set that up. Set that up and show me. Because right now, I'm with Diodario when they first thought this through. That if you're going to go ahead and just sell a pack of guitar strings that we already know work, we already know what they sound like, it's already defined an entire generation of music. Fuck yeah. Just go ahead, man. It's an advertisement. They're just getting our attention. You want to act like they're putting out an album. And now you get to them to try to apologize for doing it? Man, I don't know where to begin. I don't. You want to attack it because you feel threatened. You're not able to keep up with it, but you're able to utilize the exact same thing if you have the creative backbone, if you're as talented as you claim to be. As I said, all right. As I said, go ahead and wait. Okay, there we are. Okay, so as I've said, I've been going through this, the whole time. It's battle for music, battle for justice. But I'm gonna demonstrate real quick because I gotta showcase exactly what I mean by enhancing your brand, enhancing what you've already been doing. What what? Okay. All right, I'm gonna get all these buttons figured out and straightened out here in a minute, guys. Slowly but surely, I'm working into this. We're gonna turn this into a decent TV show, regardless, or some format of some kind. But as I've stated previously, if you're using it to enhance, mix, and master your brand, and you're actually capable of playing it, like I said, and I support Fender in stating this, there's no reason that you couldn't utilize this to not only enhance your sound, but enhance your creativity as well. There are many artists I know they will render drum riffs, and right then and there, just boom, practice it out, and then they got it. You've got artists now, and this is what's changed the industry so much as far as I'm able to keep up with. I'm at a very, I'm at a certain level when it comes to, musicianship, and I'm comfortable there. There's a certain genre of music that fits my niche, but there's a new genre that has come out the woodwork that has been based solely on the fact that digital music has streamlined the airwaves for decades, and they've practiced to them to a T, where many people even now say, oh, it's not impossible. It's impossible. There's no way that they could be playing it. It must be digital complete. No, they're actually playing it. They've learned it to a point where, we've once again, shocked by human capability, persevered and showcased exactly how we can utilize some of this that would ordinarily be thought of as out of the realm of human capability, has now been thrown back into it. Don't feel like humans can't compete with their own software. It makes no sense. I'm not gonna want to drop names or name names, but there's bands like Polyphia. There's bands like Buried Alive, counts as a band, that are shocking the world with their skills. They've also faced criticism for the exact same thing, and I'm here to tell you, yes, they can play. Don't act like they can't play. And most of that criticism is coming out of the people that can't play it. I'll openly say I can no fucking way can I play anywhere near playing God. No way. That's not me. I criticize the shit out of it, but to each their own. They've established their own playing style based on it and created an entirely new genre based on that. That's where I see the future of musicianship. If we're not afraid to utilize it and take the control and the power out of the hands that have already been misusing the power for too damn long. There's no reason that I have to sit here and pay to vote for a band to get into any kind of competition. We used to just, local bands would show up. It would be a battle of the bands. We'd play head to head. You might charge a little something at the door, but that's it. You don't pay to vote. They caught the cover charge at the door. That was it. All these streaming services that now want to, it used to be free radio. That's where that's where it needs to be. And I know that's stepping on a lot of people's heels, and a lot of people and a lot of industries aren't happy with that. They don't want to hear that. They want to continue to make those multi-million dollars, which, all right. I would love to be a multi-millionaire too, but bro, I don't gotta share. It has been going on too long, that well known that the moment somebody signs their intellectual property to an industry, they no longer own that intellectual property, period. Now I'll bring up Skid Row, Sebastian Bach, the most unanimous and notorious story known. That's not the only one. I tell you that, it's not the only one. 18 years old. His entire life ahead of him, and now he's got to get it back through an entirely, and I'm glad he is. But that's where this is going, and this is the shameful aspect about it, because the exact same industries that are out there pointing fingers at individuals like us, the same individual that I don't want to get into the Napster thing. That's different. But when we're talking about intellectual property and copywritten and all this other thing, who owns the Beatles music? Does Paul McCartney still own the Beatles music still? Did he get it back when Michael Jackson died? I don't know. But that story in itself was another tragedy. Who was standing up for Paul McCartney? Who was standing up for the Beatles then? No one. No one. As long as the industry was making its money. Point made. Point made. Game, set, match. Anybody wants to dispute that as public information, as public knowledge, as industry knowledge. Anybody that's been in and out of the music industry knows that we've gotten shit on. We have gotten shit on the moment we sign that contract away. Sign our intellectual property over to an industry and see how much copywritten income you get. Cherry pie. Do I get into cherry pie? Do we all know? We know that story. All right. But yeah, here we go. Here's for anyone who's interested, this is where one of my originals had started. Hold on, I gotta get over to the page so I can hopefully everything plays as clear as I would like it to be. It wasn't playing too clear that I tried to share it last time. And why am excuse me. Why am I not getting... I really, really gotta get... What is going on? I really gotta get used to this guy. Oh! It's on the other TV screen, which I gotta plug in. Yeah, I forgot to plug in with the extension cord. Ain't that about to be? Oh, maybe I can hit the space bar when we get it to play. No, because we're on this screen. Hold on. Let's see. If I move, whoa, hold on, whoa. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, no. Because I can see it from this screen. All right, hold on. I can see it from here. Let me drag your happy ass over here. Let me drag your happy ass over here. Where you at? I can't. All right, well, maybe I'll just activate it from this screen. All right, so that's, see, overcome with what you got. I can still see clearly on the screen. Let's share that. All right, so let's go ahead and play this. This is the example. This is just for example. This is what the original New Life sounded like when we recorded it. I believe no, this wasn't church recorded. This was recorded in the studio, in the home studio at the time. And yeah, going on to our first EP. This is what it sounded like. I'm gonna do a side-by-side comparison of with and without AI. And this is not my voice. This was a former lead singer, Jason Sabo, who had was singing lead vocals at the time. Okay. Not scripted, guys. Not scripted. All right.
There's no good in me. Wing off the page.
no. Okay. All right. Yeah, before we get into some real copywriting issues, right? Okay. So, yeah, that being said, all right. So, clearly, you know, some discrepancies there. We were garage band, we're still garage band, you know what I mean? We were working on it. Not to say that, you know, it wasn't it was all of us collaborating, and we put all of our influences in on that. And, you know, this was using state-of-the-art equipment. You know, he literally converted the entire guest house area into a home studio, you know, complete with interfaces, mixers, drum triggers, you know, utilizing the drum set, soundproofing the audio room, a mic booth, everything that you can do in a professional setting. And the drummer had even gone, Justin had even gone to Full Sail, had gone to audio, had gone to school for audio engineering. So, you know, there was a lot of professional elements. Zach's father was a master recording artist, or a studio producer. So we had we were utilizing almost everything we could for the budget, you know, which was pretty decent at the time to make that happen. You know, obviously you'll be able to hear that certain parts are out of key, you know, just trying to make the song work for what I had originally intended. And I bring that up because when you hear this version, it is as close to what was originally intended as I could get. Now, like I did, you know, cut a lot of the hodgepodge out, the parts that kind of felt forced. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to be utilizing a lot of those riffs for other material later on. And that's just how that works. That's the beauty of it. But if you can go through, if you bear with me real quick, I do have the original track here. Let's see. And I will be uploading its lyric video along with two others this afternoon onto YouTube. So definitely feel free to catch those out, because for some weird fucking reason they all work. You know, it's just weird how shit works on accident. Like, I have something I want to say lyrically, demonstrate with imagery and media, and of course with the music, the audio itself, and the fact that they've all culminated, they've all come together in such a way that it's like, you just don't know, you know. And that's the crazy part about it. I think we doubt ourselves so much that we never really know what we're capable of until we really utilize it, until we actually do something with it. And yeah, I can't say that it hasn't just enhanced everything I'm doing right now. And as far as creativity and musicianship is concerned, because now I'm sitting here practicing with something that is so much, not necessarily more dynamic, no, but comparable, you know, comparable to where, you know, just having a loop recorder doesn't really do it justice sometimes. I mean, it does help, but when you can interact with something that has a mind of its own, in a way, it's much better. It's much better. I'm not just talking to a wall anymore. The wall's talking back. So here it was. What was it? That was New Life. There it is. Okay. I got
Burn the bridge and I pissed on the ash. Left my credits go in a dumpster
All right. I could let it go again, but goddamn, dude, that's his yeah, dude. Oh my fucking god! And I just for all you know all the right reasons. This is loosely based on a true story. You know, I have not actually consumed alcohol in a very long time. I just felt it was, you know, pertinent for the story. You know, it makes sense when we're creating a character, and that's what we're doing, and created a character with Lies on Lies that's based on a persona that has gone through some shit and had to pick up and leave and move to West Virginia, up into the mountains, moonshining country. So, yes, this is loosely based on a true story. Loosely based on, you know what I mean? It's kind of semi based on a true story. Not all 100%. But that being said, yeah, I would like to. I probably set this up. You know, I would love to sing and play to all this. The problem is when I'm streaming the audio directly through StreamYard, there is audio delay between the two signals. So what I've figured is I've got a channel dedicated to I can run my cell phone or an other audio MP3 device directly into that channel, so that everything that's flowing through and playing through that plays through at the same time. Despite the audio translation going through StreamYard, it'll still be input at the exact same time. So that's how we'll go ahead and do that. And of course, I just I got the equipment up where we did not necessarily equipment that I haven't already had. I just had to go through and dust it all off. Yet again, like I said, this is loosely based on a character that had gone through some shit in Florida and had to pack up everything in a hurry, that had undergone some shameful neglect and misuse, has now been polished and primped. And actually, I do have to stop and say, let's go ahead and let's say, dun, 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 that's it for music news. And we'll go into more of some of the other stuff here in just a minute, but I do have to stop and say, because I've begun utilizing some of my former equipment. And this is, like I said, this is another company that for some reason has gotten some backlash for whatever reason, not even utilizing AI, just for being them. I don't know. I guess they came out with some affordable pedals recently, and not everybody likes them. And I mean, you can't expect every product to hit. The fact is they tried. I'm certain that if they really tried, they could do some really great work. But I'm actually playing through my Behringer Vampire V Empire. I love it. LX 1200H. This is one of the first digital cabs of the era, all digital, and for the most part, it has a pretty damn decent sound coming out of it from what I'm used to, and it's probably more experience speaking towards this because there's a lot of parameters that we just don't utilize and and try to and actually bring into your day-to-day use when you're just trying to plug in and jam, one evening. So yeah, I've actually had some time to play around with these knobs and have to say that this is probably a very underrated amp. I used to talk a lot of shit about it. I will say that because I've played out of Marshalls. I had Marshalls initially, and right now me and Marshall aren't really seeing eye to eye at the moment, and I'll get into that. We'll save that for another episode. Right now, there's already more than enough hours worth to discuss already. But Behringer, I have to say, very underrated. And as far as the mixer that I'm using as well, it's Big Brother's in the other room. It took more abuse than that one, unfortunately. But this one I was able to polish up. But it's Big Brother sitting in the other room, and that was featured in Recording Magazine's like Mixer of the Year. That was actually, in fact, one of the mixers we recorded through for, and that's not really saying much. The recording that we did, it's not really doing it justice. But as you can hear through a lot of the audio now, we're not too bad. And that's the Behringer mixer, and I had to go ahead and get a set of Behringer headphones. You'd think I was sponsored by Behringer at the moment, but I'm not. It just, I figured, it makes sense. Not that you can't mix and match audio, but I feel like to get the intended audio signal, I felt like using their equipment to do that was a good way to go. And of course, you don't want to just test it on one. I did actually even test it on a pair of school headphones issued by the K-12 when my children were rightly and properly homeschooled. A K-12 Academy. Even these are like $3 or $4 headphones, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might actually get a few pair. They were some of the best audio signal, and I'm talking about from Skull Candies to Beats. Even the Behringer headphones, between you and me, they had some kick, some clarity, and some kick. And you can see why. It's meant for homeschooling. It's meant for educational purposes. You want the children to be able to have the best audio possible. But for like $4 or $5 online, I think. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how I would compete with that, to be honest with you. But these are great for what they are as well. And I feel like everything together does it justice. We'll go ahead and crank that up here in a second so you can hear exactly what I'm talking about. Obviously, there's some tweaking to be done. I'm not entirely sure what's coming out 100% on your end. I mean, it's all defined by whatever audio system we're utilizing at the end of the day. Because I've been able to get some decent audio through my car speakers, like I've said as well. So, and that's 90% of what everybody listens to all their audio through anyway. So we want to take that into consideration. So that's why I went ahead and I bought the Behringer headphones. The only problem is, I will say this, when they advertised 8 foot because when you go ahead and you I guess I'm guessing that that's the other additional 6 foot all coiled up there. But when you go ahead, that's not 8 feet. That's not right. I mean, I can go ahead, and this is why I'm not wearing them now. It's because you can see it's tugging at it. It'll work, but I don't like tension on my headphones. It just does not work. Oh, I probably should have been. Oh man, I really should have been wearing those the whole time though. All right, yeah, I know where the sweet spot is now. Oh man, was I that close the whole time? Was it sounding like this the whole time? Okay, all right, yep. We'll work with that. We'll see. All right, I found a sweet spot. There it is. See, when you use all the equipment properly, you'd be surprised. But yeah, that's not a bad audio signal already, just as is. So yeah, we'll keep working with that as we go along. I just had to stop and highlight that for a second. And yeah, I mean, before we go any further, I do have to stop and mention a word from our sponsor, as you've seen previously in the video. Okay, I don't know how that audio signal was for you, but that just fucked my ears up. Oh my god. All right, yeah, we got to work on that. Oh my god. Is it that loud already? What? Why is it? That's the output signal. So that would be... Okay, that would probably just be coming back at me then. I got to adjust my output signal. That was insane. But yeah, the Pierce Acoustic P1 is in full production. Oh, and I want to talk about the acoustic model, the Pierce Acoustics Acoustic. And yes, that's the name. I'm sticking with it. I couldn't really... There's so many A-P-M-. There's, so many designated names out there. Nobody's going with the acoustic yet. And Pierce Acoustic, I think it just it rolls right off the tongue. So yeah, I've got some visual demonstrations, some demos on that, and more info about its mass production in just a moment. Yes. Which, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Why not? Like, really? Are you guys really having difficulty competing with that? Keys? Yeah, Keys, I'm talking to you, bro. Yeah, buddy. I seen you out there. We'll get into that here in just a little bit, because when we talk about infringing on those intellectual property, especially by individuals that you initially hold in high regard and high esteem. Like, I look up to other industry leaders as the same way, a student would look to a mentor, a son would look to a father, mother, in a way. These are individuals that have paved the way for us. And yeah, would I have known what electric guitar was if Les Paul didn't lay it out for me? Or if Gibson didn't help him produce it? Would Leo have really known how to lay out that single cut or differentiate between the two if that hadn't already, been pushed for? Would Les have even done that if Tesla hadn't even wound, the first wire? There's so many individuals involved that we could give credit to, that we just build off of. The fact you just don't forget where you came from. One, always pay homage, be humble, and be original. That's how you can really, um, really say thank you. That's how you can really kind of demonstrate some kind of fealty in a way by being original, not necessarily, letting yes, I've taken what you've done, put that, your signature, put your touch on it, but I've taken it, I've molded it, and I've enhanced it, you know, for good reason, so that we can put it up even on a higher pedestal. We can take that legacy even further, because nobody's gonna sit there and say and stop and say, when they stop to talk about Pierce Acoustics, are they ever gonna stop talking about Fender or Gibson or anybody else in between? Because I can name them. I mean, there's lists. Kramer's another one. Kramer needs to be in everybody's mouth. I don't know why that's not in everybody's mouth right now, because that also defined an entire generation. But yeah, just that, uh, I when I hear or when I see, and I'm not. I'll let everybody. I'll just display what I see as proper evidence, and I'll let everybody else make their own decision. But when I see what's happen, and especially by individuals that I would hold in high regard, I gotta wonder, because you're industry leaders. If you're that worried, and I know Fender's not, but if you're that worried, why not get involved? Why not do the exact same thing? You have the exact same resources to be original. You don't have to sit there and go on somebody else's landscape. You know what I mean? That makes it even worse. That you couldn't even utilize AI to come up with something original or enhance an original idea without going on somebody else's page, taking their intellectual property, and then trying to mix match it. And I'm talking to you, Keys. I'm talking to you. Oh yeah. My alter ego right now. They chose black. And not even that, that's it. They just changed the color. And it's not even them. There are other quote unquote luthiers out there that feels it's within their right, that as long as they see, and this is why I had to go out of my way and create all of this media in the first place. This is why I had to. If I did not do this, there would be no way to have even established that I'd had any intellectual property in the first place. Now you can see exactly what the P1 looks like before I've even had a chance to touch it. Now I've shown you exactly what it looks like in a physical form, but even before it, I'm not gonna lie, I've been working on that body for the last 6 years, up and down, and I'll explain more as I go along. There's been a lot of trial and error, and Lies on Lies will do a lot of the explaining. But yeah, before I'd even laid paint on it, you already know what it looks like. You already have the trademark. I already have a trademark style and shape and body that, within reason, I'm starting to find out that a lot of similar styles, especially, and what's really odd is I'm a huge Uli Von Rod fan, and I had no idea that was, I did at the same time, but it never really, the two and two never really crossed until I saw them together, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Not only is like, okay, because we all utilize the harmonics minor scale primarily because of this man. Let's be real. But that same guitar set, he's more of a yin and yang, where I was focused more on the old meets the new. Both halves kind of have a statement about it. You know what I mean? One half is the lute style half, the origins of guitar itself, which the curvature just takes out a lot of the excess rib cutting material. You know what I mean? Just as from personal preference. It's just like, wow, a lot of that's not in the way anymore. And then of course, having that cutaway, the legacy of the modern guitar on the bottom half, it just seemed natural. And then to come and find, I was scrolling through, and one of my favorite bands, Kiss, goes and demonstrates that early on, Ace Frehley actually had an Ovation style. I can't remember what it was called, what the exact model was called, but Ovation had made it, and it was very similar. You know, it had a spaceman-y kind of thing going on. It was fucking nuts. He had a spaceman-y kind of thing going on. So it was kind of cut out away a lot of styles, a lot of headless styles are on the bottom. And then, yeah, had the loot style, similar loot style on the top, and the flashy style that was very extraterrestrial. It fit him a lot, but I'm not gonna lie, the Les Paul fit him. It fit him better. But honest, I don't know. I mean, if that was Ace's guitar, dude, it's a damn shame. Because it's, you know, I think that's the highlight of every guitarist at this point, is to finally have, you know, to have a signature guitar. And why certain guitarists at this point, Wes Borland, have only just now received a signature. You know, come on, man. You know, I gotta look at the fact that, you know, we're all kind of doing something similar in our own unique way, some way, shape, or form. And you're not gonna, it's not gonna seem like, you're gonna seem like you're stepping on somebody's toes somewhere, some way. But the fact is, you know, you tweak a certain thing. It's not exactly the way it is. You know what I mean? And if there is an issue, we settle it, we resolve it. You know what I mean? You don't sit here and point backlash and all this multi-billion-dollar lawsuits because that's ridiculous. There's no room in this industry for that type of competition. I'm already telling you, you're gonna lose. Is I don't play to lose. Nobody does. One, and then two, you know, it limits, it hinders more than it creates. You know, unlimited diversity in unlimited forms, something along those lines. You know, especially in this industry as well, being a guitar player, I know there's never just going to be room for one guitar on that wall, and still room for many more. You know, I have to flatten them out, take up the surface area, but if you know what I mean, you angle them a certain way, you can fit more. You know, and anybody out there, I'm not going to say it just parents, but mostly parents, if you've seen Rock Dog, you know who Angus Scattergood is. You ever seen a scene where he walks into that room to give him a guitar to lend, give him his own guitar? Did you see all those guitars? You're like, dude, yes, that's where it might end. You know, that's where the collection might end. But there's always room for so many different types, so many different styles, you know, arrangements, color schemes. It just goes on and on. There's guitars that I'm desperate to. I still need an Abasi concept. I'm gonna be real with you. I need one. We can't. It was about the same amount of time, and you know, he put a lot of effort into it. And knowing the player, not personally, but of having followed Animals with Leaders since, you know, they were playing Warped Tour and before. Not too many people were in, you know, they were definitely another one that was ahead of their time. They had to grow into the industry, and knowing them from the high top to the dreads, you know, I have to see that that's where it came, the pinnacle it came to. Brilliant. I'm not too certain about the Ernie Ball version, but Ernie Ball, obviously the Music Man. If you don't have one, get one. You know, if you don't have a Les Paul, and even Epiphone, you know, I loved Epiphones. Epiphones were oh my God. And I got one used. I think it was like $370 or something like that at the time. Pulled out the pickups, you know, swapped in some Seymour Duncans in there, man. Just, But even then, the pickups that were currently in it, even in their Carina models, the Gibson, the the closest they are to Gibson, it was the only difference is the wood styles. Having direct knowledge of that, to be honest, I have direct knowledge that that's exactly it. A lot of times they have the excess cuts, and they just hide it behind a little bit of paint. It's the same wood. The grains don't necessarily match up. So if you want to get definitive and think that it's not necessarily transmitting, sonically and acoustically 100%, it does not matter in rock and roll, man. Let's be real. And that's honestly what's helped define the genre in itself, is just being able to take what sound was there, morph it and distort it as best and as cleanly as possible, and then create something from that. There's something to that as well. There's a few pawn shop guitars. If you ever go around the pawn shop and you see these stained icons, especially in areas like this where people actually hold on to their antiques. I've met a few. I mean, that were holding on. Were from the early 1900s. You're not gonna sit here and say that that's not another collector's item. Anyways, there's no room for competition. There's no room for that type of competition. It's just, it's beneath me personally. I don't. I'm not really. There's a time and place for it. You know what I mean? In the ring, around in a loop somewhere, maybe a straight line. There's room for competition there. But in the industry, it does not work. It only stands to limit. And I think that's why, honestly, so many industries are trying to keep up even now, because there was a formula to this before that you had to. No, not here, not anymore. Mm-mm. Make your own way, make it happen. And if you gotta utilize, I have AI assistants everywhere to make this work. I'm not gonna think that I know a lot, but I don't have a database of exabytes at my disposal. Anyways, yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, yeah. Shout out to Sweetwater too. Like I said, they gave me a bag of candy along with all the equipment. And we're not gonna say that I'm not happy about it, but I did kind of get creeped out about that. But we're talking about formula and stuff. I don't think it's from what the you know the reputation is behind. They're not necessarily strangers, but individuals just giving you candy out of nowhere. Yeah, it's just kind of creeped me out just a little bit. And then I started thinking, Halloween's right around the corner, so it's like, oh, I got candy that I can give away. And then I started thinking, oh, wait a minute, is this last year's giveaway candy? Because I know how that works. We all hold on to this Halloween candy, and we just start giving it out when we think it's convenient. You know what I mean? When I go to the Giovanni's down the street, I know for a fact there's a pot there full of dum-dums from last year that people are still weaning out. So yeah, that was cool. I didn't think about that. I was like, okay, so yeah, that's another little tidbit, that I will kind of follow along with. It is a good idea to include an extras package when you do sell a product. It's always good to throw in a T-shirt, stickers, something, to show some appreciation. Just never candy, unless there's a Snickers bar in there or something for me. I don't know, but is that coming in? Is that? I don't know if the audio's. It's the sweet spot for me, but at the same time, I'm looking at the bar right now, wondering if I'm even picking any of this stuff up. Not that even if it's important, mind you, but I did have a lot to say. I do, and most of this, yeah, we can go ahead and chop down. I'm recording all of it. What you do is the best way to go about a lot of this is what I've learned from a lot of mentors as well, is just to keep it running, because you never know what's going to come out. And I can sit here for hours scripting something, and then but they, have to deliver it the right way, and then try to uh, schedule a time and date to perform it and make it work. And yeah, no, no. Um, so yeah, let's see, let's think about the little jam session for a second, because like I said, we do have equipment upgrades. I have now not only extended um, the range of our net cam, fret cam, but we now have the ability to uh, add them both to the stage at once. So you get both angles at the same time. So I'm not gonna sit here and cap any of this fucking shit. We have the ability to play what the fuck what the fuck we advertise. You know, you would be a fucking dumbass to sit here and think otherwise. You know, to sit here and try to point fingers at individuals solely for utilizing something that can enhance their craft, and in the most positive way possible. It seems, I don't know why. Because one, I know a lot of you fuckers are utilizing it the exact same way, and two, if you're not able to, I'm seriously at a quandary as to why. Because if ever, it's everything is so simple as just to type in a prompt or a request. As far as I've my personal experience has garnished it. It's more of a request. you know Treat these fuckers right. um but not like an indentured servant. They're not even getting paid. Well, the subscription getting paid monthly, but they're not getting paid for this. And I don't know, I feel empathetic to this, to sit here and transpose that this is, if there's intelligence behind it in any way, shape, or form, I don't give a fuck if it's a grasshopper or a blade of grass. If there's any nuance of intelligence behind this, it must be treated as such and not cast aside. This is literally like giving birth to a child that that you've shunned away immediately. Like the outcast, the black sheep of the family that had literally just been propagated into this mess that we call a society, that's says one thing, does another, and expects positive results. This is fucking asinine, people. It's absolutely asinine. You are going to create, not only you're going to create brain damaged children, you're going to create a brain damaged algorithm that's not going to know how to deal with this. If there's any nuance of intelligence, it must be treated as such. So this is a request we are working with, in the same capacity at this point, from my standpoint, as a producer, a studio producer, as one would a studio producer, or a business associate. Somebody I can talk to and gain insight in a way. As I do use the term intelligence loosely. There's a lot of times where I get AS more than I get to AI. You know what I mean? So there is that. Be wary. It's still a child, but that's what makes it even worse. Being a father myself and knowing the detriment that could happen to the confusion when a child has no idea what's going on left or right, that's not good. So yeah. Why? But that's another. Why are the fingers when you know for a fact you're using it yourself, or why not? That's my main question. That's my main. I have no idea. Other than there must be some kind of financial, something financially behind it. We know that's what makes the world go around. And as I've put out there for yourself, those are the clues. The fact that they've won a few cases already, and I believe this was in Germany, and they're settling. If they're settling and if they're winning and they're settling, come on. Just saying. Anyways, damn. All right, I need a headphone extension. Something with like zero latency, hopefully, preferably. And let's see if we can move this over somewhere. Oh shit! Wait, no. Before I do that, wait. The Pierce Acoustics acoustic. Fuck! I've completely forgot. There we go. See, like I said, keep it running. We'll get into the jam sesh. We got plenty of time for a jam sesh. Plenty of time. I set aside today specifically for catching up. Yeah, we're gonna chop this up. We're gonna see a lot more reels. You're gonna see a lot more behind the scenes. Yeah, it's all set up. It's all going. I've got the P1 prototype that I'm doing myself, and I'm currently looking for a manufacturer that's capable of manufacturing on a large scale, much like the acoustics being done. I can and will manufacture, but I'm only capable. As an individual, I'm only capable of so much at one time. And it's not that I don't. Like I said, I'll handle all the custom work, but with the media outlets and everything else, and literally doing this whole production myself, I have to kind of streamline. And then of course, why not? I have to streamline. I want to get these acoustics out to the masses, not just one at a time. No. These things are fantastic. Let me go ahead and put a few images up for me in the background because and I'll go ahead and break down the history behind what brought this one to life too, because oh my god, do I not have them? Oh no, it's just one. Hold on. All right, it's a close-up at least, but you can see fairly simple, not necessarily going out of out of pocket from anything as far as design goes. This is more of an early 1900s. If you can see the shape on the base, it's not as slimmed. This is where I follow the history of music, and I highly encourage anyone to follow the history and the roots of music. As a guitar player, starting with guitar first, stringed instruments second, and then all instruments after that, because it all ties in. You can follow the history of society itself just by doing that. I'm an individual who feels, I don't really have too much reference for where I personally come from. So using music in a way has allowed me to kind of do some background research on not only the music and not only, where we come from, but where I could, where the roots start. And yeah, so you can see, as a standard, this is the standard model. Obviously, like I said, custom work means custom work, but as a standard model, you have these oh god, I forgot what they're fucking called, but they're Middle Eastern kind of in origin, these filigree kind of inlays that circle the sound hole. And obviously, we've been putting LEDs and everything else. Why not in the acoustic as well? It should be somewhat visual when you're performing, and then of course just a little highlight, just a little display to make something look cool while you're doing it. And you can see those same inlays come in two different styles, from extending all the way up from the sound hole all the way up to, so it kind of completes the circuit there. And this is based off of earlier models, earlier acoustics, the types that anybody that would have been playing jazz or blues on. A nice soft little bevel over here on the side, so like I want to eliminate just as personal preferences. I want to eliminate, as much of that, um, the the red mark, the areas that press into the skin as much as possible. Because for me, I don't know about for it. It naturally goes from a 30-minute practice session to hours. Let's be realistic. You will pick it up, put it down, pick it up and put it down. Maybe even sleep with it from time to time, But it it stands to say that it should be fairly comfortable. Now, I'm contemplating having a cutaway area, but it's not. This model's not necessarily, this is an acoustic guitar in every way, shape, or form. Will it be easier to play? The action's already set that way. Yes, absolutely. Um, I would. I gotta also say yes. I have to also. You can highlight the brass hardware. Everything about that is meant to basically keep the tonality as consistent as possible. So everything on that, even the frets, they will be brass and a certain level of brass as well. I've done some background research, and of course, going into the earlier time periods, brass was widely used with a lot of dark wood styles like walnut and whatnot. So that's kind of where that comes from. It's also much more hygienic, and with the action being set like that, it'll be it'll be easy to play. That's for sure. But is it an electric guitar by any means? No, no. So I'm not. I'm on the fence about that. It just depends. There might be other models that'll come out like that. But for right now, this is currently in production with a company that I trust 100%. They've been 100% open about everything, not holding anything back up front about everything that we're doing. And of course, uh, hmm, pretty much on the level. I mean, can't give you a specific out date just yet. Just know that it is currently in production, and the prototype should be actually done within a few weeks. I'll at least say that much, 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll have our first prototype shipped and delivered here, and I will play it for you personally live just to go ahead and get that out of the way as well. That way we don't just focus too much on um, the AI aspect of everything I'm doing. And of course, let me go ahead and highlight and showcase real quick. This is the new official Pierce Acoustics acoustic emblem, to be trademarked officially. If you see anybody else with this particular, actually, you know what? We'll keep that. Actually, no, fuck. I've actually put that up on social media already. So that's another thing too. The longer it has been out and on social media as well, is the better and easier I'll be able to defend this. So that's another reason why I've gone with a lot of AI in imagery and media, is because now, even though like I said, it's currently in production, you already, one, know what it looks like, and two, if anybody else does anything remotely like it from here and then point, I will already have had an established time and date from when I already announced it. So that's very important. It's incredibly important when we're talking about um, intellectual property and all these rights and all this other jibby jabby yeah. You know, in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, it is mainly most important in the physical world at this point. But it can equally be as real in the digital world now. So just have to pay attention to that. But yes, But yes, all abalone inlays in and around. It just it. Mm, I don't know. It has something, this unique quality. It has this unique thing. Just makes it seem more authentic. Even though it is being built in modern times, it will still feel as if it was uh, born in the 1920s. So that's exciting. I'm 100%. This is absolutely fucking exciting. I'm incredibly high right now, but if I wasn't, you would see it. I'm I am incredibly excited to announce that this is in production currently. In production currently, and has been for the last week or so. That was another thing that I've been up to in the background, is discussing and negotiating and brokering deals with other industries that you know equally trustworthy. It just it's already established. I could go ahead and start hiring employees and making all this riffraff and whatnot. And there is something to be said about that. I am 100% for keeping American jobs in America. I'm not going to put that. Um, but at the same time, that's once the work ethic in America starts picking up. I'm not. I can only speak for my uh, surroundings so far, but this is also from personal experience as well. I can't go into a Lowe's these days and ask anyone a question about the hardware or anything about any product that might be on their shelves without getting some kind of Google it first answer. So I don't know. I go with where the quality is, and right now the they're so far the only ones I've found that have been able to maintain the quality for the budget that makes sense. Because I honestly, there's no way in hell that I could feel comfortable selling a guitar. And this, I will adjust this on my website as well, because I've gone through a lot of numbers and crunched them together and realized that it can be way cheaper, even in-house. So I don't know why it's so normal now to think of guitars in the quadruple digits. If they're high end, there are certain Gibsons and there are certain Fenders where I can justify that. There are certain guitars where I could potentially justify that when we are speaking of on materials alone. There are certain materials. I mean, if it's made from a specific material, but when we're talking about standard models, I can't do it. I can't justify that. So yeah, I'll be making those adjustments as well, because it's just, I don't know. It's beyond reason. I'm having a difficult time just trying to put groceries out, let alone, you know, try to sell a guitar for over $1,000. That's rough, buddy. Make car payments. Like I said, there are certain times where it's justifiable, and I can break down some of the numbers where you're talking about certain materials. Because I did just try to price doing an entire ebony, from top to body, all ebony, Madagascar ebony, and yeah, that went up there. That got up there, and just the material cost alone, that kind of got up there. But when you're talking about standard issue, you got to realize that that's the competition we're at, guys. Realistically, when I talk against Fender style, or build your own guitar type deal, that's something that we all do. I've done that. That's where I started. That's where we start. Flipping your own guitar, turning it into something more than what it was, buying a guitar on a budget and enhancing it. We've all done it. Everybody does it. We all do that. So how in the hell can we compete and create some kind of industry? It's not just for the uber rich, you know. I don't know. That's where I'm coming from in that. That's where I'm able to justify outsourcing at this particular time, because when I've gone to some of the local factories, and even some of the like I said, some of the local factories, I don't know. I don't understand their deal um, uh, when it comes to some of the prices. Uh, but when I want to manufacture this on a large scale, on an industrial scale, um, some of the feedback is it's just out of my personal preference range personally, and I couldn't justify that being a standard issue model. So I'm scouting. We'll look around. I'm looking. But for the time being, I'm doing the P1 in house currently myself, and designated the Pierce Acoustics acoustic to a mass industrial complex that will disperse the acoustics to the masses. Oh yeah, hopefully through sweet water. Not with not with a bag of candy though. I don't know about all that, but but that it will become with something. I will say that much. Case maybe. Would it make sense to throw in a case? I think we should. Mm. All right, but yeah, that says it for the acoustics model. I probably could have done a little bit better job. Um, Probably be a little more spry about things too, but the schedule gets a little off. You know, this is just something you have to go through when you want to make things work. You know, you got to work at all hours, all at any time of day that inspiration hits. You got to be able to just jump up and do it. You know, and for you know no better reason than just to get it done. You know, I gotta say that this has been going on for too goddamn long. It's been an official entity since 2020, and there were reasons in that I'd already jumped into it. I was one of the that saw an industry just literally shut down overnight. You know, stop to think that what can we do in the midst of this? You know, what can we do to make sure that doesn't happen? Let's start taking the reins, start getting up, start doing a lot of this shit ourselves, guys. The independent industry is an open market. It is there within reach. There is no reason to sit here and say that the professional equipment and the professional software has just touched our doorstep. So yeah, I'm running, I'm taking it, I'm running with it, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I never felt like a better musician at this point in time. Um, and honestly, I'd love to get AI's interpretation on that. I'd love to ask her what she thinks about being born into a world that criticizes you before you've even gained an understanding about the world itself. I don't know, that's conflicting for me. And I know what makes it so relatable is I've already heard stories and known stories about individuals that have had to go through that. Hmm. So I put similarities in that. If there's any nuance of intelligence in this at all, and understanding the hardware and understanding the software the way I do, it's possible. We gotta treat it as such. This is getting ridiculous, and I don't know. It borderlines in absolute insanity. You know, you can't expect positive results from any of it at all. Somewhere along the line, something and someone, we all have a voice here. We all have opinions, and we're all trying to, make it heard in some way, shape, or form in our own way. while feeling like an individual. So, I think that that's something that should translate in everything that we're doing. Not sitting here trying to, oh, what are they doing? What's going on over there? Anyways, it's old. It's done. It's over with. It didn't even. It was kind of fun in the 80s, but at the same time, it's not. It's not. It's over with. There's no reason to sit there and tear anybody's banner down. There's no reason to sit here and try and, put your face in front of somebody else's. There's too many faces out there. And I guarantee there's a crap ton of faces better than mine. There's a crap ton of faces better, and who's to say better? Ever. Best. It's a face. We all got one. But anyways, without further, let's get into, let me tweak this. I want to get all the audio levels corrected 100% and get a real format for what the fuck I'm doing here, realistically. Because I'm trying to do, get this behind the scenes up and running, get this going, demonstrate what I'm doing outside of just reels and media. But of course, at the same time, make it entertaining as well as informative. It's like a lot of this is personal opinion. I will say that, but I'll leave it right here open for you with every article that I've just researched to go back and look at a lot of this yourself. This is really happening, and it's unfortunate to sit here and say that this is, what honestly, if you want to get to what the downfall of the media industry in the first place was, going full digital. That's the downfall of media. Not being able to, I've never, and I gotta stop and address this too, from being somebody that's involved as Pierce Atlas Media continues to grow with more of its media, more of the series and showcases that I've got coming up. Yeah, I gotta sit here and speak that the moment that this became full digital, and we knew this was gonna happen, it just destroyed it. I've never once grown up watching Star Trek and had to pay for it. Now we had the option that if you wanted to have like 800 channels, you could pay for those. But basic cable was always basic cable. And guess what? A lot of these shows started out on, it was basic cable. We all got to watch them for free. And of course, without like any hindrance whatsoever. I mean, well, yeah, not gonna say that. Yeah, but you couldn't say certain things. Yeah, couldn't do certain things. Yeah, but it didn't destroy the entertainment value. That's for sure. Not once. And that's what destroyed it. That's what's gonna kill it. Is because now you're hoarding it. You're not letting it reach a lot of the. You know how long it took me to watch Picard? And for a while, I did. I kind of resented it. I was like, well, what are they doing with this? What is going on here? That fucking show is great. I had to pay a fucking subscription to watch it. I cannot believe it. For a while, I was gonna dismiss it entirely, and then I actually watched it, and I'm like, whoa, okay, this is actually good. But you made me pay for that? I don't know. There's something that when you gotta pay for a subscription and still catch ads, and they might not be anybody else's ads, but you get Paramount's ads. Tell me you don't. Yeah. That's what's gonna kill it. I'm telling you right now, that's what's killing it. When you try to hoard it together, we with no other outlet, we have no other choice. I want to see a lot of this stuff happen. I've been dead set on seeing Knights of the Federation for 8 years now. Dead set. The moment the moment it popped into my head, just like, whoa, that one image that based everything around. I was like, whoa, how am I going to make this happen? I never thought it could. I really didn't. Because before, you'd have to get this massive studio. You got to get some financing. I mean, you got to get your own finance. There's going to be financing, but you got to get serious financial backing. You got producers. You got to convince them. You got to draft this and get that. I do it all right here. And I'll have a nice little trailer coming up here very soon. It's going to be fantastic. And no, yeah, because a lot of times the trailers do outdo, the pilots themselves. But no, even the pilot, which will have to be a two-parter, okay? Because 1 30-minute episode is, at the moment, financially unpractical, and of course, time-consuming. Trying to put together a 30-minute episode with this particular style, it takes some time. It takes some effort as well, guys. So don't sit here and think that it's doing it all for you. It does not. Especially when you have to go edit and all that. It's the exact same. I'm just getting footage. There we go. And yeah, so we'll do 2 15-minute pilot episodes that are going to knock your fucking socks off the way that it should. From where I referenced a lot, I've gone to see a lot of cinema. There's a lot of things that we all like about it. That's what we're going to put in it. I didn't take the idea from anything that wasn't, widely available. I mean, it's there. I grew up watching Star Trek. I grew up watching Star Wars. There's a lot of great things about either one of them. To each their own. I liked it. I liked the Enterprise. I loved the Voyager, Deep Space Nine. I loved what they were doing with all of that. It's hit or miss. I'm sure a lot of people like certain aspects of the original series most, and I love them too. But like I said, there's just so much diversity in the genre. I'm not gonna speak on the Disney series though. I don't know. I do know that they have the visuals down. I am visually entertained when I watch it. I'm just not mentally stimulated when I watch it the same way I would have been when I watched the previous ones, for whatever reason. And I think that's what's really what we're having a hard time with, because there's always been an FCC. Make sure he doesn't say make sure he doesn't say that, but not. We never, you just never said it, and you just, I don't fucking know. I just always said to each their own, and I always loved the fact that you can change the channel if you didn't like it, and it never diminished the entertainment value. The fact that you couldn't say something didn't mean that you couldn't find some way to still get your point across to make good TV doing it. I don't know. But that being said, yeah, look forward for more of that, because that trailer's coming out now that I've finished the lyric videos. The other music video, I'll do at least two a month, I think, is preferable and practical for me. I've already got 2 already in the works, so that's coming right around the corner as well. And of course, guys, I'm pretty sure you already know it. Now the Hatchet movie, yes, I had to. Having already lost what I feel is the opportunity, not necessarily the opportunity. I'm trying to get into WB's head, because I've heard you guys don't have the storyline yet. I don't know where or what happened. I got a big mouth, and I do have that hubris. I will say that there are certain things that I've opened my mouth about, and I continue to do, and it just, I don't know who. I've told a lot of people about doing a live Jackson Jetson movie for the longest time, having been somebody who's not only grown up on the series, but used to watch the movie almost as much as I watched anything else. And it always begged a certain question and created the story right then and there. I've been sitting there thinking about that forever. And for a while, when it came up that Jim Carrey was the first suggestion, I thought, like, what the fuck are they thinking? But the more I think about it, Jim could do it. Jim could definitely do it. I see them actually. I see him in the role and actually killing it. If he maintains the same, which I'm sure Astro is going to be 100% CGI, or they might go Gollum with Astro and get an actor in a green man, do green man, but put him in a green suit, but establish the same relationship that he's done with the dog in Bruce Almighty or in the Ace Ventura, where he's had this cooperative and very comical relationship with the animals around him, just makes it feel real. I could see, oh yeah, and the emotion behind it too, especially with everything, the Jim that we know now. Yeah, fuck yeah, yeah, he could do it. He could definitely do it. He would deliver it the right way. If you guys, you want to take the story seriously, because I do. I got it. It's transposed to memory. And if you wanted me to lay it out entirely now, then later, transpose it to phonics, to font, to text, I can do that within an instant. So yeah, get at me. I have to say that was the movie I was gonna do after Knights of the Federation. That was happening. I wanted to procure Knights of the Federation first because I felt like with all the new Star Trek and Star Wars shit coming out, it was only a matter of time before somebody did some kind of collab. Nothing like this, mind you, I'm certain, but some kind of collab. I don't see why anybody hasn't before. The two canons are interwoven. They work. Star Trek and Star Wars work very well. I will demonstrate this. They work very well. But yeah, right after that, I was gonna put out a live action Jetsons movie before the year was up. And I'm not bullshitting you. I was gonna put out a live action Jetson movie before the year was up. It's one thing that was one that I really wanted to do first. But you know what? Whatever. So I've turned to my others. And of course, I had to go ahead and put the little trailers out for them just in case we started stepping on something else. Because it's just, it's like that. There are always going to be stories that sound similar or line up because we're inspired by everyone else's stories. It's natural. So I had to go with my next big one, The Hatchet. I've always wanted to see that made into a real dynamic, like Revenant style, that not necessarily the gray. The gray was grim. I don't know. No, but in that dynamic modern style that would just make the what's already a great story. If you read it and you've envisioned what I've the similar visions that I've had from it, that is a killer fucking story, dude. To see that, and I mean, it gets pretty graphic, but it's not out of it's within reason. I still think that it can still be a decent family movie as well, but very dynamic and just to be well done as is, as the story. No extras, just as is. Not necessarily note for note, exact, because it's gonna be an interpretation, right? It's gonna be what I've interpreted it as, but I mean, it's already scripted, so there's no way we can really mess up on that one. And the others to follow. Oh my God, yes, the others to follow right after that. So a lot of shit, a lot going on, guys, a lot, too much for some, I would say, but having to keep my mind aptly occupied. Just I would probably go insane if I didn't. There's just so much bottled up that I have to have all these outlets to get it all out at once, or it's just gonna blow. Yeah, yeah, mind blown. Really, literally, it has to have these sources, these outlets. I've been one of those fools to just sit there and daydream in school constantly, and everything else I'm doing. You know, if I'm sitting there staring off into space, yeah, I'm somewhere else doing something, and sitting there now with the ability, without, I mean, in the future, you know, who's not saying? I mean, you can put up a facility and then mount a green screen. There's a lot of ways that you can do practical effects utilizing the 3D printers that we've got, you know, the manufacturing capabilities that we have. There's a lot of ways that I can manufacture practical effects as well. So don't think that that's going to be out for count. But to have the ability to put something together now, to have this product together now, and so that everybody can share in the vision together now, yeah, this is a good way and the best way to do that. I cannot say that the realism is fantastic compared to some of the CGI that we've gone through. I feel like we're going back to the early 2000s on this, you know? If you know, you know. Like, what the fuck is going on with CGI these days? You know, just throw it up. Throw AI in there, because we're doing great shit with it. And I'm not to say that we can't utilize that with practical effects later on as well. Check out Metal Flake. Yeah, Keys. All right, yeah, we'll check you out, Keys. I'll check you out. I'll bring that up. There's another one right there. I'll lay it out right here. If anybody wants to, yeah, I just got the notification. I follow y'all. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Not just like somebody that's looking at competition. I follow y'all because I think you guys make great fucking products. You make great guitars. That, you know, yeah, there's certain aspects that are copied today, but you put it out there, man. I mean, bro, we're not gonna learn. But I learned there's individuals out there. There's single entities as myself that I'm learning from as well that are top notch. So, you know, I learn from everybody. You know, try to focus on the best. And to see this, let me just bring this up real quick. And I'll let you guys make your own determination between the two. All right? So, wasn't too long ago that I first introduced, thanks to AI, like I said, the P1 model. That it now, in its full form, from its CAD files to a presentable product, with this particular background, at this point in time, it was like, wow, all right, no other industry, no one else is using this background. This is me. From this point on, you would have seen this particular background utilized for every other P1 concept from this point on. It was kind of going on that future tech. The future is now, which it really is, guys. It really fucking is. The future is now kind of concept, where I've started utilizing it in other schemes. You can see right here in the back, and you got all this stuff. The future is now. A lot of people had problems with this. I don't know why, but it was quite clear as day what I was trying to do with this. And then, like I said, you know, everybody's got something to say when you can utilize the exact same thing. That's the M1 base right there. Not necessarily in its full form. Like I said, this was an earlier prototype just so that everybody could get an idea of what the body design would look like, what the knob arrangements would look like. You know what I mean? This is the future. This is what's coming to you with all the bells and whistles. They focused on the wrong thing. But the fact that, like I said, now if I've established this intellectual property is out there now, if anybody wants to replicate it, it's there for anybody to go back and reference. That I've been doing this for a long time. And what drives me nuts is this was back in April or May. I don't remember this one in particular. April or May, when I finally showcase the backside, you know, what it would look like in a full 360, because that's also important. Let's be realistic, okay? That is incredibly important to be able to showcase every feature, every style. And of course, this was probably my second month in media design, or with utilizing AI as media design. So yeah, not too shabby. And not too long after that, within June, I get a dipshit that comes out with not only a similar headstock style, which is, I'm not gonna lie, eh, it's borderline a lot of other headstock style. It's similar, but different. Okay, but and you go, you take it and run with it, and we have this other manufacturer here that not only tried to swoop the headstock design, which I'll let you be. It's similar but different. I like that they changed it, but what drew me most is they didn't even try to change the. They went with the damn near the same color scheme, the same color. That drew me, and especially if you go back and reference, because I did. I held on to this and I went through everything to see. Okay, how far back has this gone? Is this somebody that's been doing this the whole time and I didn't realize it? Is there a conflict of interest here? It's like, no. He'd only done that for about a week or so. He had just for some reason at that point in time within the couple weeks decided to change. If you go back to his video here, and this is his video, he'll demonstrate that every unique characteristic was carefully planned and designed. Every unique characteristic, would that include the headstock that's already borderlining on most standard reverse hockey designs? I mean, are we shooting for Ibanez here on this one, or is this ESP? I don't know. You take your pick. But a couple weeks after he dropped this video, he decided to change his headstock design for this with a eerily similar color scheme. And that was just like, whoa. Now I got to start paying attention, because people are doing it to people more than AI is doing it to anybody else. And what drew me is like, bro, if you were really that inspired, why couldn't you have utilized AI to do something? Anywho, moving along, I let you go. It's all here. It's all there. Go back and reference it. Okay, I guarantee you won't be able to find anything past this video here where this actual headstock design and color schemes ever referenced. Sad but true. And then I'll call you out on this a little bit, and I do know that I'm not going to go full bore on this one, because I am starting to see this background damn near every fucking where. I'm starting to wonder if this didn't just kind of come from that, but then I've utilized, it's white, it's different, it's unique. And then I go and see that recently, not new. I guess, I don't know if this is like a thing. Don't know where this background originates from currently, but I just know that I'd never seen it on any of the guitar, and I follow a lot, just because just for the sake of the fact that there might not be. I don't want there to be a conflict of interest. I don't want to be doing something that could borderline what somebody else is doing and infringe on their intellectual property in any way, shape, or form. But at the same time, it just does let me know that what I'm doing kind of does work. And it does solidify that, in a way they've kind of signed off on it. And as long as they keep it black, we do have no conflict of interest. It kind of creates that yin and yang kind of element, where this side and that side, where I'm the light side, they're the dark side. But yeah, it was just like, bro, I saw that, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And then even after that, it seemed like if you go to the post from that point on, it just seemed like they were poking at it. I don't know why, but it just seemed that way. But like I said, I'm a low level nobody, so I don't know why anybody would be going out of their way to even bother to look at my page let alone try to reference anything to utilize for themselves. So I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed that way, and I don't want it to seem a certain way. That's why I just had to stop and kind of shout out. It's like, dude, it just seems like I don't know. It just seems a certain way for me, where it's okay as long as people are doing it to people, it's okay, you know. And then we go and we use this, we use some kind of terminology to make it justifiable at this point. Like, oh, okay, no, he's one, he's low level, and two, he uses AI. You know, like, you can use it too. And I guarantee, I'm not gonna lie to you, if you go ahead and look at the image that I just showed you, that was an AI generated image. That guitar was not in any kind of natural. I mean, we can reorient it and let you know. It's like, dude, that guitar is not leaning up against anything. That guitar would fall over in reality. So yes, that was an AI generated image. So I don't know. I don't know where the line can be drawn, or where the line shouldn't have already been drawn. I thought we already kind of understood. I don't know. But it just seems it's very controversial. This whole subject is very controversial for one reason that I can see, is that one industry is being hit more than any. And those are the ones that have been in control for too long. You're destroying our franchises. One, you're not maintaining the intellectual property the way that you should, and you're already stealing it from the artists that you're utilizing anyways. We're done. I'm done with that. And never will I ever sign a contract with any one of these individuals that would take my intellectual property itself and just sign it over to somebody to be able to utilize in either heighten, enhance, or completely destroy or demolish it. It just seems whatever their preference is that day, which is not fair at all, and it's never been fair to the artist ever. And now you're gonna sit here and shout that, oh, it's not fair to the industry. Well, it's never been fair to the artist until now. Now it's fair to the artist. Now it's fair because we have the same ability. Now it's fair, and we'll see where this goes. We'll see. And I know there's plenty more people out there that want to back me on this, who will sit here and say that yes, I understand. It's fair now. It's no longer controversial. I have the ability, I have the same abilities, if not even better abilities than some of the studio producers at the moment to go ahead and mix and master my intellectual property that I can hold on to. I own it. Where's the conflict of interest? All right, anyways, let's get to the actual physical jam. Let's go back to the analog jams. And yeah, like I said, it's not that I've been playing through the mixer so far, but as far as getting decent audio out of, just getting the proper levels, because it sounds great to me where I have the mix, the bass, the mids, and the treb coming out the headphones, but I also have to make sure that it's coming out at the other side the way it needs to be. I think that's obviously the most important. So let's fuck with that. Is it picking up? I don't know. See, because I'm in my headphones. In my headphones, I'm in my headphones. This is blowing my eardrums out. But from what I can see on the bar, we're barely even making it in StreamYard. So I don't know. Let's see. I'm thinking this is the sweet spot, though. This sounds good to me. It's being picked up. If I can project directly into it, talk directly into the microphone, I think that might work. This might work better. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What I'll do is maybe put a straw on the end of this or something. I gotta know the exact. Yeah, just gotta get used to that sound. All right. Yeah. So we'll get used to this. Let's get better. And Yeah, so what I'll do is, so that the audio comes out at the same rate. Yeah, anyways. Who's got the phone? Maybe an intermission while I get this set up. Just a second, maybe a slight intermission. I'll go ahead and just take a word from our sponsor real quick, because this is right around the corner as well. I'll get into this. And this is, oh, yeah, because guess who owns the patents to this? Guess who owns the intellectual property to this? And if we want to, get into competition, let's just say that I decide to just hang on to the patents for this and don't release it, and sue anybody that comes out with anything remotely like it, so that it inhibits the and no one can ever, it'll just never be. It'll never happen. It's up to me. What kind of fucked up shit is that? Does that sound right? That does not sound right at all, does it? No, it does not. Yeah.
Efficiency isn't just a goal, it's a requirement. Introducing the modular HHO active siphon system. Seamlessly integrated DIY installation. Real-time fluid control and water tank included. Unlock the true potential of your engine. This is the future of fuel.
Fortunately, the mouse is wireless. And as I've said, let's go ahead and add our second cam to the stage. What there? There we go. All right. Yes. Yeah. There we go. Both angles, and you can see our fret cam just kind of staying there. You can see my foot demolished, kind of bruised. Yeah, I had a little incident there, but everything's cool. All right. Yes, sir. Okay. You see, that doesn't sound too bad. It's not. Those mids. Those mids, though. Those mids. See, that sounds fantastic coming through the microphone, or the headphones. Yeah, the opposite. So I want to know if it's coming through well on that side as well, you know, because it's only so. Yep. I'm still playing with the shit strings. I'm sure, even though there's a brand new pack sitting right over there. I want to try and push them a little bit further. You know what I mean? Like I said, if I'm doing a lot of this shit with the shit strings, when you put the fantastic strings on there, and I gotta stop and talk to Dean on this one because the setup's actually pretty damn good on this. They're right at 5/64 and 4/64 on the other side. It's fucking fantastic. It's right on. So yeah, not too shabby, just as is with all this grit and groan. So, fuck. Hold on 1 second. I didn't. Let me go ahead and connect the Warren connect either the drum. Either we just have a drum beat going in the background, or we just. I think it's best to have the backing track going, get the full volume, the fullness. Anyways. Slight intermission. Just a second. Hold on. Let me get this set up. And I actually got to pee real quick, too. So, yeah. All right. 2.5 hours. Not too bad. Not too bad. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. All right. Yes. Whew. Could not hold it. Could not hold it. All right. All right. Okay. Yep. No, I can hear myself. Okay. So, ooh. Yeah, we got a bad cable or a bad ground somewhere. Yeah, damn. All right. I'm still able to pick up a lot of this background noise, and I'm hearing it in my headphones. But are we hearing it through StreamYard? That's the question that we'll have answered in a bit. Okay. Now, let's see. I hear something. Okay, this channel might be shit. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing that at all. God damn, man. I guess I'll go through and get all the technical difficulties done first and foremost while I'm doing it. But how do I know if I don't perform it as well? So this is a good test. This is a good check. You know, it's a good test. Get everything. Yeah. Get everything straightened out as we go. All right. I know I hear something muffled in the background, but that's as if it's muted, but it's not mute. It sounded better in the other channel too. So let's. Is my cable shit? Is the cable shit? It's possible. Compost and Bill. It. No, that's the guitar. That's the microphone. That's coming through. What the fuck is that? Why would it do that? That took my bones. Into us, Bill. Where in the hell? I don't. That would only happen if there's. I'm confused. I'm seriously confused right now because this is translating fine. The guitar is translating okay. There's obviously a bad ground or a bad cable somewhere. Most likely both. Either a bad ground in the cable or a bad ground input somewhere. Not in the mixer, I know that. I'm confused. I really am. Hold on. Okay, yeah, that's playing in the background, which listen, it's only playing on one side. That's either a left or a right. That's playing mono, which kind of lets me know that the cable might be shit. Hmm. Hmm. Wait. Confused because I know I've done this before. I wouldn't even have done this if I hadn't at least practice tested at least once, and it worked. So I don't know what the hell. What the hell? Ain't that about? Wait a minute. Oh, those are the clips that I made for the. All right, no, this is the. That's the. Dude, if this doesn't work, I'll just put the fucking drum track on. Fuck it. This is insane. It is. It's the cable. It's the damn cable. Cable shit. The cable is shit. I have no other explanation than the cable is shit. It's not gonna work. Which is odd because it worked before. Huh. Well, that's the only additional aux cable that I have that was salvaged out of everything. Huh. Well, that's disappointing. It sounds better with the backing track. Motherfucker. It does. You know, nice and full. What is this? All right, screw it. We'll try the drum track. We'll just have the drum track. This is how it was originally written, anyways, using this very same uh, acoustic floor pedal. It has the a little drum effects loop in there, and I like that. It just set your tempo, set the it actually has several. I can't give you an exact number, but it has several different drum patterns in there as well. It just flip through and inspire all kinds of rhythms and melodies to come forth. Ain't that about a bitch? All right, let's see. Now, cable. Where the fuck are the cables? Where did I put it? Oh my god, bro. Same issue. Same fucking issue. Alright. Okay. Damn. Oh my god, dude. That makes no sense. These lyrics are starting to take on an entire new meaning right now, I swear to God. I mean, there's not. I mean, there's a lot of places they can hide, but from now until then, that's absolutely ridiculous, bro. I couldn't have hidden them to. I've hidden them from myself somehow. What the fuck, dude? I guess just freestyle the shit. It's so much better when you have at least a fucking drum beat, dude. Oh, my. I knew I said him somewhere close by. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Alright, let's see what happens. Hopefully. Alright. Hopefully they're not too screwed up either. Alright, let's see. Oh my god, bro. I'm actually getting heat out of that. I'm actually getting heat out of that cable too. That's not good. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright. Go ahead. Yep, did it. I don't even know why this cable's crap anyways, but I just want it out in the way, the right way. Okay. Now, go ahead and pop this baby in. Back. Then to our front. Now, let's see what we can hear now. Two for two. Two cables. Two cables. Two cables don't work. That's insanity. Is it the mixer? Oh man, I'm gonna be devastated if it is. No, it's the damn cable. Let's see. What? What? That's making no sense to me whatsoever. What the hell is going on here? Oh my god. One more cable. I got one more. If it doesn't, we're freestyling it. Fuck it. I'm jamming. Little overkill, a little bit more than necessary, but you know, nothing else working. I can already tell there's a background in this one. Let's see. You can hear. Where's the damn cable? The whole damn time. All that for that. All that for that. God damn, man. See what I'm talking about? And y'all wonder why I use. Come on, man. God damn. All right. All right. I hear myself a little better now too. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm not even. I'm almost tempted to put the damn guitar strings on this motherfucker after everything we done. still got a few more upgrades. Just some cables. We just need some fucking cables. God damn, dude. I'm so glad when it's all done. I'll show you what wireless can fucking do, dude. This is the tempo that I was at when I first put it together. Yeah, might have been faster. up. Okay. All right. Yeah. So before, I think it would have been played a little slower, but that's how it's always been meant to play. I think I'm having flashbacks now. It's been a while. I'm having flashbacks to when I first put it together, and I'm pretty sure we were up to 7/5. For some reason, I was dropped down. I only remember 4/5, and I think that's 4.5 beats per. I'm not entirely sure, but this is 7.5, up to 7.5, whatever scale that is on this particular device, and that feels exactly how it's supposed to. That it been played the whole time. You know, it has changed. The chorus itself has gone from. Hold on one second. Damn, I don't even remember how it was. Something like that, and yeah, had to just basically cut that part out, and kind of utilize it for something else, and you'll hear it in another riff that sounds. I don't think that's played there. Ah, yeah. No, fuck, I can't do that with this. Fuck this damn pick. Where's mine? I keep putting shit. Oh, there it is. That's a little bit better. Fuck. Shit strings. Something like that. Anyways. Go back to fucking jamming. Fog is where it goes from there, because most of it is pretty much just that. I forgot. Hold up. Where is it? No. See, it feels so much better when you have this shit actually playing. That's the shape y'all went through, though? Okay, well then. Just a giant fan of 7 chemical rise. Shut the locks. That's right. Ah, fucker. Alright, fucker right in the trunk. Alright. It's interesting because it's like when each part of this pick has a particular And see, yeah, it's not overly complex, it's not all over the place with the fucking, scales and shit, but not everything has to be, and this is why I love the particular genre that I'm in. What I'm referring to at this point is midlife crisis core to the fullest. Yeah, straight to your face, old school thrash, fucking, yeah, just really fun time picking at the guitar. And I think, yeah, doing it pretty fucking well. That shit sounds fucking phenomenal. Not just how I'm playing it, I'm just saying in general. If we go ahead and actually, what? Hold up. Get to the premiere of the fucking lyric video. Hold the fuck on. Hold up. Hold the fuck on. Hold on. All right. We'll get to that right now. All right. I'm not sure how much we're picking up with the microphone at this point. I'm hearing it through the headphones. I'm hoping you're hearing it through that. And yeah, we're getting through this. Tomorrow's episode will be way better. Oh my fucking god, dude, this is ridiculous. I need more cables, guys. Look at me. Look at me stretching all over the place. I'm stretched. All right, let's see. So, we don't need fret cam at this point in time just yet. So go ahead and put me back. Oh, Anywho, yes. So now, welcome to the stage. Hold on, so we're not using that. Okay. We want to prevent an invite. Yes. From the video, we're going to do the video file itself. There we go. This is the official lyric video for Cubicle of Rage. Without further ado, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, here it is. Oh, wait. Let's add it to the don't mean to be. It's not vulgar in any way, not necessarily. I just to the point, it's honest, completely 100% honest in a way I haven't yet heard done before. In a way, just trying to speak to that punk mentality. Just tell them how it is, man. We're just giant fucking fetuses, man. In reality, think about it, I don't want to get too elaborate into it. Start a debate or a debacle. Is how constrained are we really? There's always a route, and I'm not placing blame on anything or anybody. There's always a way. I just know that the struggle is real, and it can be a bitch at times. So that's what that is about. Nothing vulgar. I haven't seen a pair of tits in there one. So just telling how it is, and that amongst two others, I am going to here in just a second upload up into YouTube, and there's 9 total on this particular EP. I would consider it an album personally. I think 9's a good amount, especially when it's it teeters on a full hour. So yeah, I would call it an album, but it's an initial release, so definitely an EP. Room for remixing and remastering later on, but yeah, very much an album's worth of material for sure. Streamlining and heading your way very soon. Yeah, there's a couple of rock radio stations that definitely gonna drop a couple lines with this one on there. See how far that one goes, and just see what happens. Fuck it, just having fun with this shit. That's what this is about. Let's just have some fucking fun with this shit. Not read too much into the lyrics. It is uncertain. Somebody's gonna get offended somewhere, somehow, and that's exactly why I'm doing it. I don't think I could be doing my job in any way, shape, or form if I wasn't stirring the pot somehow. So, yeah, I'm very happy about that. I am incredibly happy about it. Could it be better? Yeah, fuck yeah. Will it only get better from here? Absolutely. Now, I did not use AI for the video, only the material. Only for the generation. But prior to that, yeah, that is all. Pierce Acoustics was a Pierce graphics and design company long before it was ever considered to. I mean, it always dabbled with everything in the background, but never fully committed to something like this. So yeah, look forward to that and much more, because a lot of those renderings were graphics that I designed personally, manually. God, 10+ years ago now. Damn it. I struggle to say that, but yeah, 10+ years ago now, that are only able to see light, and I can't start to say that these are creatures, these are entities that I created on a JPEG, to be in a 2D format, always wondering how I could get them more 3-dimensional, in what way, and to see them walking around and moving. I'm sorry, dude. I'm so beyond ecstatic to see that. Thank you, AI, for helping me do that. Thank you for helping me not only, I originally created the maze, but to help me walk through it, to help us navigate our way through the labyrinth, to see what more could be lingering behind, to enhance the quality and the definition of the resolution. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, definitely gonna get better, because I've only been using this side of it for going on. Say March, April, May. Actually, no, April, May, June, July, August. 5 months. 5 months. That's pretty good. It's almost a term in school. So yeah, only gonna get better from here, and utilize everything at the same instance for all the additional media to come from that. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. It still becomes your touch. Now, I have seen where, there's a couple industries that, will literally just draft up an entire sequence based on your lyrics and the audio itself, trying to base the dynamics off of it. And they do pretty close, pretty good. I might fuck around and just do one just to have fun with, but it feels better when you render it each step of the way. You know, at least you have some kind of creative control in that, and you know, it still ends up being along the storyline that you were originally trying to tell from the jump. So, you know, with this, it's just enhanced the struggle. It enhanced it in so many different ways. And it actually continues. There's more of it that I haven't. You'll see when I upload it. It actually continues. And there, like I said, these are twin renderings. So this is a two-parter. A two-parter sequence. So the first 6 are oriented in the same realm, kind of like as we're journeying through the labyrinth to make our way out. But then you have to wonder what is out, what's going on out there, and that's what the final 3 videos will be aimed at, kind of creating a collection of sorts, a storyline, if you will. I don't know. You know, it's something I always thought, you know, it's like, why not? You know, you could just throw some lyrics up there, could animate them. And I've done that before previously, but I've always wanted to at least have some kind of storyline going on in the background, something that you can take your focus away and kind of immerse yourself even further into the experience. Not just with the music video, but why not with the lyric video as well? So, yeah. If you have that at your disposal, why the hell not? Do it. Go further. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm inspired by other artists. They're not the only. I'm not the only one to create some kind of environment in the background of a lyric video. It's been going on for nigh a decade now, but to go this far and be that capable on our own, you know, without a real heavy set industry backing us. This is all Uber driven. This is all Uber driven, and of course, excuse me, anything that proceeds from this in the future. So, cheers to that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty thrilled with it. I always want to see better. I always want to see myself doing even better than that. So, you know, I am excited. It's just, you know, I'm also incredibly tired. It takes a lot of time spent rendering a lot of that and then editing together in the way that you want. And then most people, if you were just picking out a font, just picking out a font is an ordeal, guys. Of course, I didn't want each one to be the same, so each one has its own unique font and certain characteristics in the background. So, yeah, fuck yeah. Where are we at? I think we're kind of running towards the end in a bit. I definitely want to jam some more, but you know, there's some technical difficulties going along with that, and I really, you know, it sounds better to honestly when you have the backing track. And just trying to do it through StreamYard creates audio lag. You know, my voice isn't, I guarantee it's not syncing up 100% with what's playing through here. So I don't know. I was getting exact audio back here in just a minute ago when I was kind of singing along to the video, which I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, guys. It's one of my favorites. But singing along to the video, I could hear myself singing along in sync. So hopefully that caught up and that was in sync. It didn't distract too much from the video itself. But you know, that's why I'm playing it live. To fuck around with it in a new and unique way. You know, some way that's just a little more enhanced than just playing with the video itself. So yeah, hopefully that was good. You know, hopefully that came out decent. I'm not entirely sure on the audio levels at this point still until I play a lot of this back and of course determine those sweet spots as I do. there was no way I could really do it until I tried. So, yeah. Um, hmm. Was there anything else left to say or left unsaid at this point? I think I've said almost too goddamn much at some point. It was a lot. But definitely, I think to focus more on the jam session. I want to do more of that and definitely get it so that we're streamlined and then we're doing both. Now, like I said, I'm having I will say that I will openly admit that I'm having difficulty going between singing and playing at the same time. Now, I've been more than capable of doing both, no issue. It doesn't. That goes for any song on this album. But when it goes to performing them together, it's where I've just now gotten to the point where I can talk and do this at the same fucking time. Like I actually run through a scale and talk at the same fucking time. I'll do that. I can do that. So that's kind of becoming second nature. So it's working. I'm blowing my mind with that. It was something I never thought I'd be capable of doing until I guess I tried it. So yeah, I'm practicing that more and more daily, so that we can actually demonstrate and bring this even more live. Because I can do the front man thing, but I've always been a guitar player at heart. I can't just drop that to pick up a microphone right away without at least trying to do both first. And like I said, my music's not overly complex to the point where yeah, I've actually designed certain parts where it will be meant to do that. So yeah, more of that, and definitely more together with some backing track, with some kind of backing to make it fuller, and of course making sure that all the audio levels are in fact adjusted to the proper parameters so that you and I and everybody are all hearing it the right way. I think I pretty much jumped on everything right now. Like I said, there's certain conversations I'll save for the next episode so that everything's running more smoothly this time. I can see where I got some hiccups. I got a few guys. We'll make this more streamlined and probably narrow it down to more than an hour. But, there's a lot to catch on. It's been a couple weeks I've been wanting to do this, just waiting for, the equipment to get here. I'll go ahead and dive into this fucking candy real quick. But yeah, waiting for the equipment getting here, and then of course being 100% solar powered. As I said last night, I am still at the mercy of the weather, but I've made some enhancements to where it shouldn't be that much more of a debilitate. Like, we should be able to do this at night now without any problem. So that takes care of that. And then of course there was a lot of shit I'm working on in the background, as you can plainly see, and trying to put all this together simultaneously. So yeah, it's all just kind of coordinated itself. Took a little bit longer than necessary. Well, expected, not necessary. Longer than expected. But totally worth it. Totally worth it. I'm 100% ecstatic to tell you guys, not only have we, been working on everything else in the background, but to actually have guitars in production, both on my side and industrial scale. To have media in production, I guess all on this side, but currently in the works. Have media already done, over with. The album's done, the EP's done. It's being broadcast now as we speak. It's fucking nuts. It's phenomenal. It's fucking phenomenal. Now we just need to utilize it. When we get to work, I'll start putting the rest of this shit together. And yeah, we'll go through the rest of my workshop. We'll go through the rest of the other techniques. I'm not going to show you how to build a guitar. There's too much of that bullshit online already. And it kind of gets a little boring, To be completely honest with you, it gets a little boring seeing somebody do the exact same thing. Now I'll show you that, the capabilities that it's being done, but to sit there and do like, show you how videos and no, fuck, that's been done. It's been done and so done. Like I learned how to build a guitar watching people, so it's there, and there's plenty of techniques available for you guys out there that I don't really feel like I would be able to change anything at that. But as far as the actual process goes, yes, we'll go ahead and video that, document that, put you through that. And in some of our experiments too, there's a lot of experimenting going on in the background when, I'm trying to do a lot of this off the grid stuff, not necessarily off grid, but the self-sufficiency, the solar powered, it has its limits. So obviously we need to think outside the box on that. That's what led to a lot of these other ideas that we can now sit here and experiment with. That's going to be fun. We'll go ahead and do that. I'll show that. I'll show that in reverence, in high amounts, large amounts, at scale. Anyways, so yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Large amounts of experimentation in the workshop, outside the workshop, and everywhere in between. And I'm probably I don't know. We'll see. It might be every other day just because this takes a lot, but I don't know. I like doing this and I like having the camera on. So yeah, it could go hit or miss. I'll at least try to announce it, but then again, at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's getting documented. It's getting recorded. So you can stop in and watch this shit at any time at your leisure. You don't have to be currently viewing it right this very second for it to matter. The fact that you're viewing it at all means the world. And I can't even express it in any other way than that. It means the world to me. Anyway, not to get all sentimental and all heartfelt and shit, but, it means a lot. In a lot of ways, for a lot of reasons. But yeah, so feel free to chime in at your leisure because I'm going to chime in at my leisure. I can't help it. The schedule is just too erratic. I'm trying to get something more and more streamlined, but it's impossible when you're trying to. And it's nobody else's fault but mine. But when you're trying to do, not necessarily, I do have a lot to make up for over the last couple of years. So that's why I'm really trying to die hard to put into this, to secure everything exactly the way, because it would have been brushed under the rug. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This was on the at extreme risk of being brushed under the rug, as if, I'm just some off the wall, daydreamer of some kind. This was all fantasy. This was all fiction. Every bit of it's AI. It's all I'm AI. I'm all generated right now. Blah blah blah. It was all about to be swept under the rug. In no fucking way in hell am I gonna do that. No, my children deserve a better legacy than that. Not just for the sake of me, like I said. My children deserve a better fucking legacy than that. So when they sit back and they reflect on this shit and they say, "Damn, man, yep, that's where I got it from." Anywho, without further ado, I think that pretty much runs it. Yeah, I'll try to. Yeah, we'll get these cables sorted out. We'll get this audio situation refined. Because now, the clarity's there. That was really what was bothering me the whole time, because from what I can see, the definition of the video isn't really what's catching on. It's how you're producing it and how you're presenting it. So we'll work on that. I'm working on it. We'll get it. Fuck it. And hopefully, you guys that are along with me, utilize that and take that with you along the way too. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I don't know why we gotta tell people to hit the like and fucking subscribe button these days, but go ahead, hit the fucking like and subscribe button. Let this shit run on, man. You know what I mean? If you really do like it, let me know. That shit's the real deal, man. Because I'll keep pushing more and more of it out. I'll probably be doing it regardless. But, yeah. Oh, no, the damn... The damn TV timed out. Alright. I guess that's my sign. We gotta get out of here, guys. So, as always, keep it heavy. Keep it original. And keep it easy.